Hey there guys, how's it going? Welcome to a Black Ops 2 patch update video. David Vonderhaar and his team of wizards over at Treyarch have been busy bees tweaking all the stuff in multiplayer to try and balance things out and make things a bit more of an even playing field and fixing some of the problems and glitches in the game. So here I'm going to do a few of the main important points. Had a lot of people actually ask me about, some people even don't still know what's going on. All of the information in more detail is below in the description and available on the Treyarch forums. But I'm going to go over what I think is the most important stuff and how I think it affects the game, whether it's good or bad, and whether I think it will mean that the game is more balanced in general. So I'm going to mainly talk about the gun balance because that's pretty much what most of us notice. But the two things that I will say that have changed notably from the multiplayer in general, which have been changed to be kind of sorted out, is number one, the select fire issue. If you use select fire on a weapon, currently, if you say set it to full auto one round, when you spawn for the next round, it will be back to single fire, and this can be very frustrating when you run into your first gunfire and you're not on full auto and you thought you were, and you can often miss out. Also, the spawns have been changed in Domination. I'm not sure how they've been tweaked, but I'll have to play a little bit more to figure out exactly, but it's something to note if you do play Domination. Like me, I play a heck of a lot of Domination, and I can tell you to the almost instant when the spawns are gonna flip on the current system. With it being tweaked a little bit, maybe it will be a little bit different, so that's something to watch out for if you play Domination. So let's get on to the gun balance, because it's the thing that most of us are interested in. The SMGs, first of all, the MSMC and the PDW have taken a nerf. Recoil has been increased for both of the guns, and hipfire accuracy has also been reduced. So they're not as powerful from the hip. Well, they're just as powerful. They're not as accurate from the hip, and they're not as accurate at range. However, I doubt that this will be to the point where everyone's going to think, forget the PDW, let's slap on the old Scorpion, but possibly maybe a couple of good submachine guns like the Vector and the MP7 might be a bit more thrown into that. To be honest, I think the PDW and SMC, I think they've changed them just more due to the fact that how many people use those weapons rather than the fact they are actually ridiculously overpowered. I think they are the strongest, but I don't think they really need much done to them, but they've done something, so maybe it will make people experiment a little bit more with other weapons, seeing as there is a lot of PDW and MSMC action at the moment. Next, the Cap 40s and the Cap 40 dual wield only really seem to be used at the moment by competitive players, the Optic guys, and pretty much every competitive League Play stream I see, there is now a Kimbo, or should I say dual wield Cap 40s. Those have taken a damage reduction and a reduction in hipfire accuracy. I can't imagine many of you guys used to use them too much, but it's something to note, the Cap 40s aren't quite as beast as they used to be. Now, assault rifles, this is quite an interesting one. The FAL OSW and select fire damage has been reduced when firing fully auto. Now that is something that was not in before and makes quite a big change. So the thing is, they're basically trying to get people to not use for full auto with the FAL and the SMR, as I'll talk to you in a second. So it seems like these kind of tweaks to the SMR and the FAL are all about trying to get people to use, you know, their trigger finger instead of just going full auto easy mode, and trying to give a bit more of a penalty to people who do go full auto, you know, because it shouldn't really be fair that you can just go full auto. There's not really much of a penalty for that other than using an attachment, of course. So also the SMR has had damage reduced when firing full auto, which is kind of interesting. So just did a video about that gun, so a bit of a shame that they've changed it just after I've done my video all about it. So the next one is the Type 25 movement speed has been increased and the medium range damage has been increased. The MTAR got a damage increase at medium range recently, and now that Type 25 has been given one as well. So maybe they're seeing them as guns that are not used too much, or maybe they're seeing them as guns that aren't as powerful as they were hoping. To me, I probably think it's just guns that aren't being used much and are being overlooked. So I actually thought the Type 25 was very strong. I can imagine now if you stuck lightweight on the Type 25 with a suppressor and stock, it would be a very powerful weapon to use. They have given the Scar a long-range damage increase, which is kind of interesting because personally, I don't think there's too many long-range engagements in Black Ops 2 no matter what you do. Unless you really sit back and, you know, pick off people from long range, you don't get too many long-range engagements. But the Scar isn't the greatest weapon in the game, so I suppose a little bit of a buff to that weapon won't do any harm to the balance overall. Now, the SWAT 556 has also been given a long-range damage increase. I actually really like like the SWAT 5.56. I don't really use it much, but I did enjoy it when I used it. Well worth checking out. If you used to enjoy the M16 and things like that from previous Call of Duties, it's definitely worth giving it a go. It's a good weapon, and now it's been given a bit of a buff with a long range damage increase. But like I just said, I don't feel like long-range damage increases do much in general Black Ops 2 gameplay. I think you only notice it 10% of the time, 90% of the time. Most of your gunfights are going to be close-ish to medium range. Moving on, the shotguns. The M1216 was given a medium-range damage increase, which is probably fair, to be honest. It is extremely weak at range. In my Gold Gun video about that weapon, I did say it is an absolute monster at close range, and if you run up on someone at close range, there is nothing that competes with the M12. It is nasty. It has a lot of ammunition, but you know, it was useless at, you know, medium range. So I think a medium range increase, it could be a little frustrating if it's implemented right, because if they give that kind of firepower it has at short range to medium, it is going to be really deadly. So I'm interested to try that one out, and it's something for you guys to know if you don't use the M12 and you fancy trying it out. They gave the ballista a bit of a buff that is less iron sight sway with the ballista, which is obviously going to help you aim. I actually love the ballista. You'll see in my Gold Gun video that I think it's my favourite sniper rifle. I didn't think it needed a buff, but if you're going to give my favourite sniper rifle a little bit of a buff, I'm all for that. So that also kind of negates the fact that you need the CPU. You know, the CPU is meant to do that, less idle sway when you look down sight. So I can't imagine what the ballista with the CPU is like now that maybe I'll have to do a test or two on that. Other than that, they did a few things with zombies as well, but I don't really play zombies, so I'm not really too interested in that gun balance. Seems like an interesting overall patch. Actually, I've missed out on a couple of things. The LMGs, the QBB LSW has been given a medium range increase. I think this is very, very big news. The LSW is a monster. Give it a go. Try it out with my perks and attachments that I did in my LSW video, and I think you'll have a fun time. I think it's very much an underrated gun. It's got an extremely high fire rate, a huge magazine, and now it's been given a medium range damage increase. That gun could be a lot of trouble for people online. The hammer has also been given a medium range damage increase. Personally, I don't really like that weapon. I don't really like the way it slows down its fire rate when you've been shooting a few bullets out of it, but a lot of people do like that weapon, so maybe that will also be a good one. So overall, I think the guns to try out after this are the Type 25, the SWAT, the M12 and the LSW, guns that, you know, that are good anyway but have been given a buff. They're really good in my opinion. A lot of people, I think they're just underused weapons, so those weapons in particular, I definitely recommend trying them out now if you haven't already. Hope you enjoyed that gameplay, by the way. 52 and 2 with the Peacekeeper. Nice little gameplay for the background. Apparently there's going to be some new camos in Black Ops 2 possibly this week, so I'll definitely be trying them out and making some videos about them for you. Don't forget to like the video if you did enjoy it and you found some of the information that I provided useful. And that's it for now, guys. I'll see you soon.